Hello, Middle Street. Today we will explain lesson 2 in Unit 4, Sexual and Asexual Reproduction. Not all living organisms are produced by the same way. In order to keep the continuity of their species and to avoid their extinction. So reproduction process is a biological process where the living organism produces new individuals of the same kind to ensure its continuity. Types of reproduction in living organisms. Number 1, asexual reproduction. It occurs by only one living organism. It mostly occurs in single-celled living organisms such as amoeba and yeasts. Number 2, sexual reproduction. It occurs through two living organisms, a male and a female. It occurs in most higher living organisms of plants and animals. Number 1, asexual reproduction. It is a process by which living organisms produce individuals with genetic traits identical to those of their parents. It occurs in unicellular living organisms. Some multicellular animals and plants takes place by mitosis. Give reason, asexual reproduction needs no special systems and structures to occur because it takes place by mitosis division. Types of asexual reproduction: binary fission, budding, regeneration, spore propagation, vegetative reproduction. Reproduction by binary fission. It is a type of asexual reproduction where the nucleus divides mitotically, then the cell splits into two identical cells. It occurs in unicellular living organisms as unicellular protozoans like amoeba, paramecium, eugellina, simple algae, and bacteria. How does it occur? The nucleus divides by mitosis division, and the cell splits into two cells. Each cell grows and becomes a new individual. So, give reason, the cells that are resulted by binary fission are identical and similar to the parental cell because they are resulted by the mitotic division. Reproduction by budding. It is a type of asexual reproduction that produces new individuals by formation of buds in the parent cell. It occurs in unicellular living organisms as yeast, fungus, and multicellular organisms such as hydra and sponges. Bud in yeast emerges as a lateral bulk in the cell. The cell nucleus is divided mitosis into two nuclei. One of them remains in the parental cell, and the other immigrates or passes to the bud. A bud grows gradually and remains connected to the parental cell until it is fully grown, then separates from it or remains to form a colony. Reproduction by regeneration. It is the ability of the missing part in some living organisms to grow, forming a complete organism identical to the parent individual. It occurs in starfish. The living organism can reproduce by one of its parts. Starfish arms could be regenerated and give out a complete animal if they contain a part of the central disc of the animal. Regeneration. It is the ability of animals to compensate their missing parts. Question. If the number of chromosomes in a starfish mother cell is 2n, how many chromosomes are there in the cells resulted by regeneration and why? The number will be 2n because it is produced from mitotic division. Give reason. Starfish perform regeneration. Why? To produce new individuals or to compensate their missing parts. Reproduction by spore propagation. It is a type of asexual reproduction that occurs in some fungi and algae by producing spores. It occurs in some fungi, such as bread mold and mushrooms, and some algae. Each sporangium ruptures and a large number of spores are released. When spores find a suitable environment, they start growing to give a new organism. Number 5, vegetative propagation. It is a type of asexual reproduction that takes place in plants' vegetative organs without that need of seeds. It occurs in some plants by their vegetative organs, leaves, roots, and stems, without needing seeds. Number 2, in plant cells in tissue culture. Number 2, sexual reproduction. It is the process by which living organisms produce individuals with traits differ from parents. Occurs in higher living organisms. Occur between two parental individuals, male and female. Sexual reproduction depends on two main processes. Number 1, formation of gametes. Number 2, fertilization. Number 1, formation of gametes. Gametes are formed in the reproductive cells by the meiotic division. Gametes resulting from this division contain half the number of chromosomes in organisms, reproduction cells 2n. Number 2, fertilization. It is a combination of the male gamete and female gamete to form a zygote, which contains the normal number of chromosomes of the organism. This zygote contains genetic material from both parents. When it grows, it gives a new offspring whose traits combine each parent's traits. So give reason, the chromosomes number of gametes is just n, because gametes are produced from meiotic division. After fertilization, the zygote of 2n is produced, which grows, performing the organisms. So the difference between sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction: number of organisms 2, male and female, but in asexual is 1. Type of living organisms: in sexual reproduction, in most higher living organisms of plant and animals, but in asexual reproduction in single-celled living organisms. Type of division in sexual reproduction is meiotic, but in asexual reproduction is mitotic. Genetic traits in offspring in sexual reproduction combine from two sources, male and female, but in asexual reproduction, full copy of parent genetic traits.